You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. It's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another show. We're just banging the pots and panniers, as we always do on the Chris Voss Show, making our little noise over here in our corner of the web universe, or what some people like to call, I don't have a joke for that, but we'll just go with it. Whatever the new AI overlords come up with is what you'll be. Just fill in the blank when you're watching this 10 years from now and the Terminators are outside your door banging. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Go to goodreads.com, /Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com, /Chris Voss, Chris Voss one, the TikTokity, all those crazy places on the internet. Today we have an amazing young lady on the show. As always, we have the most brilliant people. Every time I see people come on the show, I'm like, gosh darn it. We have so many smart people. Should there be someone dumb in here? And people are like, it's the host. That's why we have guest folks, because Idiot Boy here doing the hosting needs to have smart people to make him look good. She's the author of the I'm just like cutting myself down and shaming myself on my own show. What kind of show is this? Anyway, she's the latest book that came out called Public Speakers. You're Not All That. 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You. I think that's where I picked up the shaming this morning. It's out December 21st, 2019. You're not all that, Chris. Anyway, Orly Amor joins us on the show today. We're going to be talking about her insights, her experience, and her knowledge, and how you can make your life better. She's written a multitude of different books that you can tap into. She is not merely a coach. She's a visionary entrepreneur, a corporate trainer, a best-selling author, and an international public speaker whose influence spans the globe. She's founded 5 successful companies, and her prowess in maximizing bottom-line results is unmatched, having helped over 200,000 individuals worldwide to exponentially increase their sales through the power of profiling. She's dedicated to empowering public speakers, authors, coaches, and entrepreneurs, guiding them to monetize their passion through a comprehensive business in a box for public speakers. I think that's what's in the box. What's in the box? Oh, that's a 7 joke. Her strategy is not just about learning. It's about learning to sustain and grow one's craft with seriousness and strategic insight. Welcome to the show. How are you, Orly?
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
I can't stop laughing. So, my cheeks are hurting already, and we just started.
By the end of the show, your face will fall off.
There you go.
All the pain of laughing. I mean, who knew?
Yeah, I won't sue you for body harm. No worries.
I've done that before. I've gone to comedy shows, and I get done, and I'm like, God, my face hurts, and I laugh so much.
Yeah.
So, Orly, give us your .coms. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Meet orlyamor.com, and I'm on every social media platform you can find at I am Orly Amor, or just type in my name, it'll show up, and you'll see everywhere I can be found.
So
can't hide anywhere.
That's the truth. Not in today's world. They got cameras everywhere, evidently. Orly, give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your book? Public speakers. You're not all that, eh? I added the A part.
Thank you. Public speakers, you're not all that became an idea, and it wasn't really called that first. At first, I just wanted to give people insight into the world of public speaking and coaching, and I was wondering, why is it that people are always struggling to make money in this business and sharing their message, sharing their experiences? And at one point, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a publisher, and I said, you know what? They all think they're all that in a bag of chips. I mean, they're not all that. And he goes, why don't you say that? That's the name of your book. You're not all that. And I set out on a course to interview over 3,400 event planners that actually pay speakers, so that I can give everything I can to the speakers, coaches, authors, that they're not all that, and why event planners won't hire them.
I've seen that. There's some speakers, and they've got the gig down where they can tour and do all that, and some people struggle with it. So it's definitely a thing. What are some other tease outs from the books you can maybe give us so people pick it up?
Everybody thinks that this industry is owing them. Literally, they just think that somebody's because I wrote a book, somebody's going to come and knock on my door and I'll be paid thousands and thousands and thousands to speak. And the reality of it is that event planners, they did a survey on the most stressful jobs in America, Canada and the United States. This one you're going to love.
Those are stressful jobs.
Number one of 100 was military jet fighter plane pilot. Number two, air traffic controller. And number 5 was event planner coordinator.
Wow.
So it's kind of impressive when speakers think they have it all and everybody should hire them. So in the book, it's demystifying all of that, and that ego should not be driving speakers. It's their messaging and how to do this business.
Yeah. I mean, some people like to do stuff and then they don't really turn it into business or know how to turn it into a business. And so it ends up being an issue. You've helped over 200,000 individuals worldwide exponentially increase their sales for the power of profiling. What is profiling for people who don't know?
Basically, people talk to me about profiling. They're like, oh my God, you're like Criminal Minds. And I'm like, kind of, sort of, not really.
Does there have to be a murder involved or what's going on there?
Not really, but reading people is very important. Reading people in sales is very important. Reading people overall and knowing how to communicate to people, even if it's your loved ones. It's good to know where they're at. There is a profiling system called DISC, D-I-S-C, which is just like Myers-Briggs. People know a lot of others like Myers-Briggs, and there's other modalities. I like DISC because not only am I trained a trainer in this, but I'm also it's easy to use. Everything else just needs too much effort and too much thinking. And I went around the world speaking to companies and their employees to help them raise their bottom line. And that's how I do it.
Oh, wow. And so talk to us about some of the services you have at your website and things that you offer.
Okay. I'm a business coach for public speakers and the only one in the world that guarantees they'll make $150K their first year in public speaking, or I work with them until they do.
Wow.
Yes. And in writing, I put it in writing. I had to fight with my lawyer on that one, but it's okay. If they do the work, it'll be done. Because $150K is like minimum wage. It's like working for McDonald's. What?
Pretty much these days with inflation.
Right. And the other thing is that I also certify coaches in mindset mastery so that they are able to help others. Life coaching, mindset mastery, people put them both in the same basket. I've created a program for that.
Can they work with their coach and they're not a speaker and they can figure out how to be a better coach?
Absolutely. One it washes the other's hand, but at the end of the day, you can be just a coach and you don't have to be a speaker. You can be a speaker and not a coach, but that doesn't really happen. The speakers are usually asked to have something to take with the audience, like a book or a coaching package or something that will keep them connected.
Mm-hmm. Books really help establish authority. We were talking about that before the show. And so they're a great calling card, aren't they? Do most speakers really need to have a book, do you think, or coaches?
No, I have the 20 things you don't need to be paid as a public speaker. And one of them is that you don't need to have a book.
You don't need that stupid book stuff. I mean,
it's not that. Anyway? A long time ago, Chris, yes, books were a big deal. Yes, it still does give you a little bit of credibility. But now every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a book. And they're putting it on Amazon. And it's an Amazon bestseller. And there's a trick to get it to Amazon bestseller. So at the end of the day, it's just a glorified business card, as well as a website. You don't even need a website. But a website is a glorified resume because everybody has one. Mine is horrible. And
my dog has one. No, I don't know.
I believe you, because there's so many.
My dog has me blocked on social media, so I can't tell if she's got a website or not. She doesn't want to know what she's
I love it.
Evidently. She's a husky. You know how they are.
Oh, they're stubborn.
Yeah, they're stubborn and they're up to evil pretty much most of the time.
That's awesome.
My first 10 marriages.
Oh, my Lord.
It's a callback joke we do on the show.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your website, and there's lots of great stuff on here. And you've got, I know, an event coming up. I think a cruise or something we want to plug.
So there's a cruise in 2025, October 12th, 2025 from Miami, Florida. and we're going to Honduras and other great islands. This is a speakers cruise, so people actually get on stage a few times during the conference, which happens during the days at sea.
Oh.
So it's really cool because we get to travel together, and it also gives them the distinction of being a international speaker right away. They're going to have a certificate at the end of it that they've been on international water and they are international speakers now.
Yeah. Plus, they can practice. Since you're on a cruise, practice speaking while having motion sickness. So there.
If you have motion sickness, I would say. Oh my goodness.
So everyone, hey, I know we're in a hurricane right now, but I'd like to direct you to the screen in the back behind me. Yeah, it's all new.
I got dizzy just doing that.
Whole new level of challenges. As a speaker, you got water splashing on you from water coming in the boat. You're like,
that's an idea, actually. That's a good idea. You know what, Chris? I might use that. Splash water on them while they're talking.
Someone tried that on Titanic and it didn't go well. Anyway, that's too soon. Some of the other products that you have and you offer on your website, you have the speaking element where people can schedule a call with you and things like that. How did you get into this business? How were you raised, and what kind of influenced you to get down this road? What's your hero's journey there, story?
Thank you for that. Yes. So my story is like other people's stories, but I was a beaten up child. I was molested 4 times before the age of 14. I was raped 3 times before the age of 22, twice gang raped, 9 months apart, left for dead. And I was also married to a very abusive husband, both mentally and physically. And as a result of that, I gained a morbid amount of weight. I was 428 pounds at my heaviest. But also it moved me to get educated. So I got an MBA and a law degree. And I just moved down the path of working. I became a workaholic. And I was in property management for 25 years. Yeah, I might not look it. I'm 57 years old. So if people are doing the math, yes, that's my age. And during my time at being at property management, one of my girlfriends, and I was speaking on that topic as well already. So one of my girlfriends asked me to speak at a women's shelter. And I said, what do you want me to speak about? Property management? She's like, no, silly. I want you to come and tell your story. So she said, I don't know if you have an annoying friend, but I have a couple. And she's annoying friends everywhere. But this one was calling me every day for about 3 weeks, asking me to do this talk. And finally, I just said, why do you want me? I mean, there's other people that speak on this topic. Why me? She's like, you have this bubbly personality. Everywhere you go, people hug you. People who don't even know you hug you. You're like a social butterfly. Come and you're living a lifestyle that most people dream about. Come and give these women hope.
Yeah. And plus, she probably knew you work for free.
Yeah.
So you know what's going on there.
And then so I finally relented, and I hired a coach to actually show me how to tell my story. I didn't know how to tell my story. And anyway, 3 months later, I'm speaking at this women's shelter. And right after I got done speaking, one of the people there, everybody came to me and said, thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me hope. But one lady came up and was crying profusely. We couldn't hold her, to calm her down. And at one point she says, you don't understand. This is how I was going to kill myself this morning. She shows me a piece of paper. This is how I was going to kill myself this morning. In fact, I don't even remember driving from my house to the shelter, but I heard you speak and I want to live. I just need you to show me how.
Wow. That is magic.
And so, and that was also the pivotal moment that I realized that my story was not about me. It was about who I can impact, who I can inspire. And I think that everybody has a story. That's one of the 20 things. You don't have to have a boo story. You just have a story. I mean, Chris, you have a dog. You have a story. Like everybody has a story that they can share with others and inspire them or give them some kind of life lessons. And so that was my first inspiration.
Yeah, I have a dog who's a husky. I have 5 trillion stories. In fact, I should write a book for my husky's adventures. I probably got encyclopedia sort of volumes there. So then you went from there to where?
that was my first speech. And after that, I did my first speech as far as being motivational or inspirational, because before that I was speaking on property management all over the country to all kinds of companies. And I realized that, you know what, I didn't want to do that anymore. I don't want to speak in property management. I wanted to do this, impact people's lives. So I decided to get into it and start studying this industry of public speaking, because at the time, nobody would help me. Nobody helped me to get started or whatever. And I created a program about mindset mastery to help people who were like me, trying to find the solutions, right? To overcome traumatic experiences. And I became a business coach for CEOs and CFOs of Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies, helping them, because those kind of leaders don't have anybody to talk to. Unless they have a therapist or a psychiatrist, they don't have anybody to talk to. They
can't talk to my pro agent, so I'm just teasing people. I don't have a pro agent.
You are something else. I love it.
I get one of my 7 ankle bracelets off next week.
Okay.
Then I'll be down to 6.
No, you're so funny. I can't help it, Chris, but thank you so much for making me laugh today.
I'm sorry throwing
awesome.
you off, but yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
It.
Absolutely. And me too. And thank you for all the pain I'm going to suffer later. Okay.
I got facial pain on the Chris Voss Show. Call my attorney. Contact him.
I told you I would not sue you for bodily harm.
Make people laugh.
Exactly.
We're going to put a legal disclaimer on the Chris Voss Show. May have pain after, if you listen or watch or you're on the show.
Oh, Lord. But thank you so much for making me laugh. That's for sure. And so I became a business coach because CEOs and CFOs, leaders, do not have anybody to talk to. They can't talk about their problems to their spouses. They can't talk about the problems to their VPs or somebody in the company that is in leadership. They can't show vulnerability, so they don't have really anybody to talk to. So I used to coach them on that specificity of having somebody to talk to that is not a psychiatrist, although I have some psychology background, but I just wanted to help these CEOs and CFOs. So I called myself the checkup from the neck up. Oh. And as a coach, and it was really awesome. I did it for 10 years, but then I realized, hold on a second, I can't serve that many people all the time. Maybe I should help others do it. And so I created the certification program in Mindset Mastery, which also helps anybody not anybody, but anybody that is willing to take a leap of faith and work on themselves. Because you got to be realizing that you need help in order to get help. Yeah. You don't have to be incarcerated to get help.
That's good. I'll tell the judge that when I'm there.
No, and tell that to the parole officer. Yeah.
I think that's how it works. I might have the sequence mixed up, but I don't know. I never been to jail. I'll be fine. Yeah, I'm just going to.
And that's how I got it. I got started in the Mindset Mastery world and speaking world. And I've loved it ever since.
And so now you offer the services, you help other people. You know, you were talking about your story and sharing it with the homeless women, and that was kind of the thing that got you down that road. You know, I remember when I was writing my book, I was at the typing all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy stage, where I was just, and it felt like that was all I was ever typing. I was literally probably going insane. I don't know. And, shining reference for you Gen Zers. And I remember I can't remember if it was somebody on the show or I was bitching about it on Facebook, and somebody who's a multi-book author called me up and they go, hey, you know what? I realize you're at the point where you just want to throw it all away and quit. You know, you're in editing basically. And they go, but there's somebody out there that needs to hear your story, and other people's story are not going to resonate with them. Only you will be able to touch them and motivate them and move them and help them. And so you have to finish this book, and you think it's about you, but it's not about you. It's the people that are going to listen to your story, learn from it, and be better. And there's people out there that they need your book. And I was like, wow, okay. So now I realized, it's about something that's much bigger than myself and helping other people. And she told me a story of she was at a book signing, and a gal came up to her and said, I was in prison. This is kind of plays into the prison callback jokes I keep doing. But she'd been in prison, in a women's prison, and they had started getting her books, and they'd formed a little reading committee at the prison. And it was helping the women set goals and how to improve themselves and, make it so that they didn't recidivist back to prison and better themselves. And because of your book, I was able to get out of prison. And, there's people in there who needed your book. And so now she keeps at the base of her writing desk a picture of that young lady in a jumpsuit, an orange jumpsuit, and she realizes that it's not really so much about her; it's sharing her story with other people, and that's what's really amazing about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, sharing your story. You never know who's going to hear it, and that's what I tell people. You never know who's in the act of sharing. There's contribution. You just don't know whose life you're going to change, and that's where we should all come from in the sense of serving. A place of servitude. That's what I tell people. You're here to serve, not to sell. That's what I say. True.
Sounds like my first 10 marriages. Or no, it's 9. You have to change the number, otherwise it's not funny as a joke.
Oh my goodness.
It's a callback joke I use in the show, and I change the number every time, but I forgot to do it then. So just imagine people, you heard 6 or something.
Yeah.
When people reach out to you, how can they onboard with you? How can they get to know you better? I think you offer some guarantees or something. Tell us how people can do that.
People can actually get on my calendar for a 30-minute conversation. There's no strings attached. It's just to discuss their path and where they are at and how I can support them. If I can support them, I will. Trademark the Millionaire Connectors. So I love connecting people also to people. So it depends where they're at and what they need. And if I can support or not, it's still, I have other people in my circle of influence that can.
Mm-hmm. That's what we need. We need more storytellers. I mean, I always say stories are the owner's manual to life. It's how we learn from each other. It's how we find out we're not alone. Other people have maybe the blueprints that we can use to solve our problems. Of course, no one has a blueprint for solving my problem, evidently, according to my therapist. But I think he said lobotomy was the way to go. That's
my God.
That's the only help he can deliver. But, yeah.
Oh, you're hysterical.
Yeah.
I think you missed your vocation. Maybe Voss should have been vocation. As a comedian.
That's what people like the show. They love the laughter. So
yes,
we call it edutainment.
It is edutainment.
Entertain you. So we make you laugh, and then somewhere in the laughing, you learn stuff that makes you a better person and makes the world better. And then when you're done, you're like, damn, he slid that right by me. All that knowledge and stuff that I didn't want to learn. The jokes, I just laughing, and all of a sudden I'm smarter. So we call it the Chris Voss Show Glow. Final pitch out and thoughts as we go out, the .com, and on how people can reach out to you and get to know you better.
People can reach me on social media, Orly Amor, ORLYAMOR, no E at the end. And meetorlyamor.com is my website. And I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you need to find me, you can. Just Google me. You'll see my picture.
It's been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Order up the book, folks, where fine books are sold. She's got, how many books do you have, actually, Orly?
I'm a part of a bunch of anthology books, but I have 2 that are out there, Mindset Mastery, The 12 Powers We Hold Within, and Public Speakers, You're Not All That, 12 Reasons Why Event Planners Won't Hire You.
Public Speakers, You're Not All That, 12 Reasons Event Planners Won't Hire You. Order up wherever fine books are sold. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss.